Dr. Praful Vijay. So welcome you all once again to the reading club. So we have already finished reading the theory of suppressions of our legend guru, Dr. Praful Vijayakar sir. So from the theory of suppressions, we understood the various layers and how the disease is getting suppressed or whether it is getting cured just by looking into the follow-up, just by looking into the new set of symptoms what the patient is coming up the next time. We understood all those things, and I hope we are all thorough with the layers of the disease and the various the suppression techniques, no, like how the suppression occurs and how the cure occurs. But that is not all enough. Similia similibus curenter. Homeopathy is based upon a science, a natural science. But then that alone is not enough, was the sentence made by the master, Dr. Samuel Hahnemann. He also felt the same thing, that initially there is hope. Initially, the patients are getting better. Of course, in acute conditions, the patients are getting 100% relief. But again and again, the diseases are coming back. So in the chronic conditions, initial improvement is there, followed by either no improvement, or after the improvement, the relapse comes up. So when will the patient be completely cured is the $1,000,000 question. And our master identified or he found out that there is a missing keystone in the entire system, what he has discovered. So what is that missing keystone? He finally found out that it is a miasm. So what is this miasm now? We want to know more about the miasm. So welcome you all once again to the reading of the third book of homeopathy written by Dr. Praful Vijayakar. That is the end of My Assumptions of Miasm. And we are reading now the page number 37. We have to read that page. So in our last class, we have read and dealt with the beginning of the miasms, like how Dr. Hahnemann have found out that there is a root cause for every chronic disease. When you look into the journey of the disease, all these chronic disease patients, the disease has started from the skin layer. That is from the first layer. According to us, it is the ectoderm, the first layer or the least important organ. From there, the disease has started, which means the doctors who are doing the case taking can trace the illness, can trace the disease back to back, and that every disease begins from the first layer. So which means skin is the most vulnerable organ, or it is the most external organ. And from there, after suppression or after application of some topically something applied, or after liniments or something, or after the treatment, whether it is a good treatment or a bad treatment, the body is already tainted with that particular illness, and he progresses from there to a group of illnesses. So A group, B group, C group. Certain illnesses where the patient's symptoms could be traced to a skin disease, which is termed as itch, will form into a certain group of chronic ailments. Whereas the category B, we could trace the illness to the point of venereal warts. When the venereal warts are suppressed, he contracts with certain chronic diseases, not all chronic diseases are for this person. Certain chronic diseases are falling to this patient, that is category B, who had the initial symptom as the venereal wart. And the third category, who had the initial symptom as chancre, when that one is suppressed, he contracts with new and new diseases, chronic diseases, which fall into a third set. So the first set is different, second set is different, and the third set is different. And there can only be 3 sets, not more than 3 miasms. So hence it is known as the trimiasmatic. Only 3 miasms are there. And all these, the beginning of the disease should be from the skin. That is the point so far discovered by Dr. Samuel Hahnemann, so far what we have read from the book. Now, we want much more assertions for all these things, and let us follow what Samuel Hahnemann sir has done at that time, which Vijayakar sir has well written here. That is conclusion of, so this is page number 37 of the book, okay? That is the end of My Assumptions of Miasm. Page number 37. Conclusion of pre-Sora days works of Hahnemann. Itch, as well as venereal warts and chancre, were not the cause. The itch is not the cause of the disease. The chancre is not the cause of the disease. The venereal warts are not the cause of the disease. They are but what? They are but the result of the disease, which, after firmly establishing itself in the whole organism, expressed itself on the skin as itch or warts or chancre. So what does this mean then? The body is already tainted with a certain thing, with a certain miasm. Persons who are, there can only be 3 miasms. We told about that. We talked about that. So certain people, a group of constitutions, a group of people who are getting tainted with the psoric miasm or the itch miasm or category A, they belong to the, or their first symptom will be itch. For the second category, when they are tainted with the particular miasm, the first disease expressed on the skin will be warts. And for the third category, the first symptom, after they are tainted or after they are polluted, the first symptom, the very first symptom would have been an ulcer or a chancre. That the chronic disease or miasm had a parasite-like existence inside the organism, which went on strengthening even in a healthy lifestyle, diet and robust constitution. And its role was to destroy life. So a lot of oppositions can be there regarding this. What is Dr. Samuel Hahnemann talking here? So he found out that there is a missing point, and that missing point is nothing but the miasm. And there are 3 miasms. Certain patients are getting only a certain category of diseases. A second class of patients are getting only a certain class of diseases. The third one is getting only a certain kind of chronic diseases. And he found out the root cause or the first symptom to be on the ectoderm in 3 different forms. One is in the form of itch, the other one is in the form of a wart, and the other one is in the form of a chancre. So this much is understood by all, right? Yeah. So all these things are theories of Dr. Samuel Hahnemann. Yeah. He is constantly under the probe of, he's constantly probing, like what is the missing, what is missing. So all these things are his theories. Now let us follow the rest of the things and then we come to know the rest. So publishing of the book Chronic Diseases. In 1828, Dr. Hahnemann published this book of chronic diseases with all the above conclusions. See, when we read this also, we have this, okay, the one element of doubt is there in us. No, what is he talking about then? The reaction to this book was alike in almost all the circles. What? He was ridiculed, yeah, criticized, and denounced by friends and foes alike. Those who criticized him laughed at the very suggestion that a mite or insect of scabies, that is Acarus scabi, which could be caught hold of with a needle, would cause a remoter thing as epilepsy or phthisis. Can this be believed? And Dr. Samuel Hahnemann, a much learned man, is saying this, like epilepsy or phthisis, the root cause is the itch. What does this mean? How can this be justified? Few of his friends tried to correct him by saying it is the impure blood which may be the cause of the dyscrasia, which in turn gave rise to chronic diseases. Only 2 of his trusted lieutenants, Dr. Staff and Dr. Gross, were informed about his works by Dr. Hahnemann before the publishing of his book in order to maintain complete secrecy. Why? Dr. Samuel himself was having this doubt, like people will not understand me properly. This was exactly because he had anticipated such adverse reactions, which he thought would be hindering his research. A lot of negative energy will be there and his further research will be hindered there itself. So he understood that he should not make his theories public. Despite all the brickbats and criticisms, Dr. Hahnemann stood firm. He described this discovery of miasms as the greatest discovery and a great boon to mankind. He was so firm about it that he felt bad that he would be misunderstood and his followers would not understand this discovery properly, and they would therefore not be able to reap rich harvest from this discovery for the benefit of the human race. He mentions this in preface to Chronic Diseases. So where are we? Just with the theory of similia similibus curanter, we are not able to cure the entire system of diseases, all forms of disease from the layer 1, from the ectoderm till the cells. That means from the layer 1 till the seventh layer, all the diseases are now categorized into this. There is no other disease, no disease which is not categorized into this chart. That is very efficiently done by the magnanimous, our Dr. Legend, Dr. Vijaykar sir. Every disease in future also, whatever disease is going to come, that is also incorporated in this theory of suppressions chart. So, Doctor, what Samuel Hahnemann is saying is, from the all these diseases cannot be cured by similia similibus. So, isn't this theory complete? No, it is not complete. Then what is that missing stone? That is the miasm. And the miasm started either as itch or as warts or as chancre. But then he also says that it is not the itch that causes the entire chronic diseases. And people started laughing also. They also understood it in that way. Why is it so? If it is the itch, then you can always disappear or pinpointedly pick it out and throw it out. Then that is the end of the disease. Is it? No, something else more. So this great philosophical mind had one more foresight. He predicted that, he predicted that his teachings will not be followed sincerely by his so-called followers. He predicted that principles which he had laid down for practice of homeopathy would not be understood by many because of lack of scientific proofs. Hence, he wrote in the preface to first edition of the Chronic Diseases in 1828, but in communicating to the world this great discovery, I am sorry that I must doubt whether my contemporaries will comprehend the logical sequence of these teachings of mine and will follow them carefully and gain thereby the infinite benefits for the suffering humanity, which must inevitably spring from faithful and accurate observance of the same. Or whether frightened away by the unheard of nature of many of these disclosures, they will not rather leave them untried and uninitiated and therefore useless. This is what the favorite paragraph of Dr. Vijaykar sir. He very often quotes this paragraph and he says that homeopathy is not for treating cold or cough. It is for treating diseases of infinite levels, infinite degree. So sky is the limit of homeopathy, Vijaykar sir said, and he practiced it and then he showed it on stage. So may they do better with the great discovery, that is the theory of chronic diseases, that is the doctrine of miasm presented to them. So here, Dr. Samuel Hahnemann has found out something, but then he is not able to give it to the public or give it to the doctors or give it to the contemporaries, and he always doubted whether he will be understood right. Yeah. So he has that doubt. Both these thoughts in the mind of Dr. Hahnemann, that of doubt and sense of insecurity, were accompanied by hopefulness, hoping against hope that they, that is his contemporaries and followers, will do better. See, so he has given us the missing stone or whatever, the real key of whatever has to be taken care of. But then he always had the doubt that whether we people will understand it properly or not. And what is Vijaykar sir continuing? We cannot let him down. We as homeopaths have to strive and complete the work he has left incomplete for the sheer reason that he was physically a mortal, and the term of life endowed upon him by the Supreme Being, though longer than many others, was just not enough. How many books have Dr. Samuel Hahnemann written? Metra Medica Pura, then chronic diseases, much more. Na? So many books he has written, and he was constantly striving to prove more and more and update his books more and more until the 6th edition. And after that, he was into that the millisimal scale, where he was constantly trying to upgrade homeopathy, upgrade. Not enough to discover and improve this great art of healing, not enough to discover the theory of chronic diseases and to add to it or to provide scientific explanations for the same. It is we who have to vindicate him in terms of modern advances in science, and a day shall come when we homeopaths shall be acknowledged as more scientific than our counterparts. So it is all about the dilemma of Dr. Samuel Hahnemann. We are going step by step into the depths of the miasms. So now we shall go to the chapter 2 now. A little more is explained there. That is the second chapter, the body and pathology. The body and pathology, to explain the abstract mind and abstractness of miasm. So what is this abstract? Abstractness means what? It is just the idea, or it is a thought process. So first we have to understand that idea and the thought process. Later on, we will be able to practically convert all these things. Okay, are you all with me? Now we shall talk a little more about the miasm. The theory of chronic diseases is not an abstract theory floated by Dr. Hahnemann. He proposed this theory of chronic diseases after 12 years of toil and experience. He declared it as his greatest discovery, without which even discovery of science of homeopathy was incomplete. Yes? He was fully aware of the consequences of not understanding the theory of miasms. He also ruled the fact that science was not advanced enough to provide an explanation to his theory of chronic diseases. He never said that. He never said that science is not enough, etc., etc. He constantly strived to prove his theory. Nevertheless, he has put in bold the explanation based on logic and experience, which explains the theory of miasm. Taking it as pure hypothesis, homeopaths have tried to cash in on absence of certain scientific explanations. Some have implied it as a hoax. Some try to dilate, inflate, and even distort the theory of miasm to the extent of adding newer and newer miasms based on the disease suffered. Yes, we all have seen this. In the JOD, in the journey of the disease, if the patient has had a history of typhoid in his past history, what we will say? Ah, okay, this is the typhoid miasm. If he had the history of malaria, what we say? Okay, he had this is the malarial miasm, etc., etc. Tuberculosis, tubercular miasm, or cancer miasm, what not? So we are creating all these things according to our convenience. This is a dangerous psychosyphilitic trend of putting forth imaginary hypothetical propositions. This was not advocated by our master, Dr. Samuel Hahnemann. And why are we interested in creating more and more miasms? Whatever miasms he has given us should be properly understood and employed. Yes. So in the age of insufficient advances of human-related sciences, instead of attempting to explain the fantastic Hahnemannian thoughts, which are of almost Nostradamic perfection, such modifications of miasms shall only end up confusing. See, every homeopath, every eminent homeopath will create a new miasm. So isn't the system then confused a lot? Already confusing the already confused homeopathic lot and lead to certain doom of homeopathy for those who blindly follow it. Yeah. Our master was giving us the theories or postulating theories with a Nostradamic perfection. He was a visionary and he has kind of that prophetic, that element is there in Hahnemann, Dr. Hahnemann. The science of homeopathy with its miasm theory is now no more unexplainable. Now this is all explainable. Homeopaths have been living in a cocoon of their own. They have been happy enough to call themselves followers or masters of a mystic science. Very sad this is. The science was apparently mystic 200 years back. The mystic magical words like the vital force. See, who will understand? Only homeopaths will understand. If you see, only the few of the public, no, like homeopaths belong to how many? Maybe the few percentage of the population know or understand that vital force, the term vital force, the term sora, the term psychosis, the term syphilis. We can only chat among ourselves. Can we talk about syphilis or psychosis or sora or to vital force to another person, to a layman, to another educated person, to an officer, to the court, wherever we go, only a homeopath will understand this. Okay. So or the syphilis have helped them to weave a web of mysticism, confusion, and pseudoism around themselves and the science, but with a never-ending ray of hope that our science is different and can be that my solution to the incurable miseries of mankind in the distant future one is waiting for. See, just by see with all these terms, we are only trying to fool ourselves and to fool the public around us by saying that this is kind of a mystic science. Why do we want to make it a mystic science? We want it rather scientific. Waiting for the distant future, the psychotic minds amongst us float theories beyond the realms of human realities. Theories and hypotheses were proposed by Hahnemann 200 years ago because science was not advanced enough at that time. Theories or hypotheses being proposed by homeopaths today either stink of sly intention of one-upmanship on the great master, or to lure the mesmerizable homeopaths like the Pied Piper to make homeopathy a midsummer night's dream. So what is this, doctor? Our Vijayakar, Dr. Vijayakar sir is expressing his indignation, yeah, the righteous anger towards all these homeopaths. What are they doing? They are not in the right direction. They are just using this science and they want it to be pseudoic, they want it to be mystic, so that with all these dialogues and with all these philosophies and all, like they will be able to what kind of mesmerize the patients and keep or stick the patients around them. Okay, this doctor is doing some magic. Okay, anyway, we are not able to explain where these medicines are going and acting, the modus operandi. We are not able to explain. We are not able to measure the quantity of the homeopathic medicine. Once it is potentized, then there is no quantity at all. It's only quality. Avogadro's hypothesis is not being applicable. On top of that, we have all these theories like SORA, psychosis and all, and then we can shut the mouth of the questioning people. Yeah. It is essential for all homeopaths to break this cocoon. How long will we live inside this cocoon? Huh? And we are all second-class citizens, no? We never come up into the forefront and talk about homeopathy. We dare not. Why? Because we always have that self-doubt. So it is essential for all homeopaths to break this cocoon or a spell of supernatural feelings and delusions and to come out into the light of scientific advances. Human being is much more clearly visible now, right up to the so-called abstract energies, yes, cells, genes, and viruses which disturb it. At that time, all these things were, not to be understood. No, at that time, 200 years back, it was not. Using the light of knowledge endowed to us with the advent of electron microscope, the world has moved ahead, albeit in the wrong direction. And unfortunately, the followers of one of the great masters with postmodern thoughts are still thinking in the jungle of Africa or India with their primitive knowledge. See, our master, Dr. Samuel Hahnemann, was a visionary. He was always having postmodern thoughts. But whereas we are not, we are still holding on to the old theories, or we are still not confident about ourselves, and we always want to not go into the depth of the scientific realm. That kind of an escapism is there for all of us, and that is where Dr. Vijayakar sir has risen himself up, and he is giving all this thought process in the form of his book, in the form of tablets. These are the conditions which prevail in our homeopathic fraternity. Our primitive status and blind follow-up invite lots of witch doctors to propose theories after theories, only to abandon them later, so that this reason, gift, and mind can put forward rational explanations to appear as saviors on the road to progress. Leave that, friends. Now coming to the next paragraph. In aphorism 144, Hahnemann says, from such a materia medica, everything that is conjunctural, all that is mere assertion or imaginary should be strictly excluded. Who is saying this? Dr. Samuel Hahnemann is saying that whatever is, all that is mere assertion or imaginary should be strictly excluded. Everything should be the pure language of nature, carefully and honestly interrogated. When one deals with only the mind in arriving at the simillimum, one tends to go into abstract or spiritual dimensions. Yeah. When we talk about the mind only, according to the mind of the patient, the doctor's mind also will be wandering somewhere, and we will be leaving the pathology, we will be leaving the disease behind. Imaginations and conjunctures take the place of facts and solidity. We don't want imaginations, we don't want conjunctures, whereas we want facts and solidity. Whether it is in materia medica or in the understanding of the miasms, this imagination or conjunctures are exactly what Hahnemann has told us to avoid. Such conjunctures are good enough to catch the imaginations of the gullibles and those who like to theorize and fantasize. Building castles in the air is always going to have shaky foundations, especially when not substantiated with enough proofs of concrete and consistent results. Such a distortion of facts of homeopathy will invariably lead to its doom. So here again and again, Dr. Vijayakar sir is, or Dr. Samuel Hahnemann is talking about the solidity and more scientific we have to be, and don't simply talk or don't simply give the explanations, blah, blah, blah. Just look into the scientificity, look into the pathology, look into the diagnosis, look into the all these MRI or all the scans, and let the results talk, no? Let not us give the explanations. Hahnemann himself thus advocated solidity and factualism in treatment of patients with homeopathy. So if it is a wrong prescription, we should have the guts to accept that it is wrong. With this in view, we would also like to go to study the physical or material visible aspect of a human being to understand the meaning of miasm. So about this miasm, there are lots and lots of theories, more than enough. By reading all those things, will we understand anything? No, it is only with Dr. Vijaykar sir's what to say, where he has step by step written everything and given to us, where we are able to make use of the miasm in our day-to-day practice. So how has he done? Not by talks, but by physical or material visible aspect of the human being, by looking at the cells, or by looking at the transitions happening to the cell when the cell is exposed to a trauma, whether it is a mental trauma or physical trauma. How does the individual react? How does the cell react? And what is the kind of the reaction that is produced after the stimulus is given? Certain categories are showing only inflammation. Certain categories are showing only induration. Certain categories are showing only ulceration. And there can be only these three reactions. So that's all those things will be coming up in our next lessons. So this is what Vijaykar sir has given us, and even Dr. Samuel Hahnemann has been talking about this. Let us not be just like that, give the boasting or whatever, or give the philosophical talks about the miasm, but then because it is invisible, he had to talk at that time like that because of the what to say, lack of materials. Nowadays, we are able to understand at the cellular level, even at the genome level, what is happening upon the genes and what is happening upon the cells. So we have to make use of all these things to explain the miasm, not still hanging on to the old 200 years back old theory. We will try to understand what the body wants to express in the form of physical discomfort when it suffers from various diseases. How does the body get affected? What is the body telling us? How does what is the reaction of the body? And what are the changes which are seen in the scan or in the MRI or in the CT? And accordingly, let us classify the miasms, or let us find out what miasm this patient is, etc., etc. Not by talking to the patient, just by looking into the report, we will be able to understand of what miasm the disease is or the patient is. It will be beneficial for us to understand a pathological manifestation in a disease, which, as we know, is because of some deep-seated unseen dyscrasia within the body itself. So this deep-seated unseen dyscrasia we leave aside and we look into the result. Okay, what is it that is shown here? What is the pathological manifestation that is displayed here? So according to the constitution, all these pathological manifestation will be different. According to the miasm, the pathological manifestation will be different. So let us look into this and find out, okay, the proceedings, etc. Now, journey from the body to the mind. We as human beings are perfect embodiments of an abstract mind, spirit, soul, and energy in a concrete matter called body. Okay. So this is rather little on the higher side, right? So we can only see the body, the external body. How is this body run? The body is run by various hormones, neurotransmitters, and ATP, all these things inside happening, no? Like the enzyme, everything is there inside. So who is the controller of all these things? That is the brain. But then for brain dead people also, all these things are, even though the patient is vegetable, when the mind is not there, or what to say, if the organ is there, eye is there, the organ eye is there, but then through the optic chiasma, from the retina, the image will be transferred into the occipital lobe of the brain, no? But if the patient, the brain is there, The eye is there, but then if the patient is out of his mind, if the patient is out of his mind, will the patient be able to say that this is this particular image that I have seen? Or he is hearing, but his auditory nerves, yeah, the nerves are there and they are sensing the hearing, what to say, that stimulus, and it is taking it to the temporal lobe, and then the brain is processing that, and it should understand that. And with the help of the mind only, you will be able to understand properly that this is it. Yeah, if the brain is damaged, or or rather if the mind is damaged, or if the mind is not working, then how is the patient going to understand that this is the thing what I had here, what I had heard, or this is the thing what I had seen? Then mind is the master of the brain. Then who is controlling the mind? So this comes on and on and on. So the body is controlled, okay, by the brain. Then even if the brain is there, if the mind is not proper, then the entire thing is gone. So this is best example where in which disease? In any mental diseases like schizophrenia, or even in small children like autistic children. Yeah, you call them by their name, they don't know. You tell them, I am your mother, he doesn't know. You make him show something, he has his eyes, he has his brain. Yeah, but then the communication is not proper there, which means he is not able to correlate all these things and to process that in the brain, and then the mind should understand that, and then only that liveliness will be there on his face. How the autistic children will be? They don't even have the eye to eye contact. They don't even heed to our commands. They don't even talk. Or rather, life is there, but what is the meaning of this life if the four factors, the soul, spirit, mind, and body. So for the body to be complete or for the perfect health, what are the things needed? Soul, spirit, mind, and body. All these four things. If all these things are aligned together, we say that it is a perfect embodiment. Yeah. Otherwise, it's only because of consciousness, still they will be there with vegetable existence. Exactly. Exactly. So in the coma patient, where all the diseases, all the parts of the body are there intact, but then somewhere it is cut off, somewhere it is cut off. So all these four factors should be there for the perfect harmony. That is the reason why we talk about the mind in homeopathy, more and more about the mind and body connection in homeopathy. If God has created this material universe, there must be a sense to it. If he has embodied our soul, spirit, and mind in solid appearing body, there must be a sense to it. In allopathy, what is happening, or in any other system, what is happening? More and more the treatment happens to the paper. What do you mean by paper? That is the values. What is your sugar value, or what is your thyroid value? What is the renal value, etc., etc. Which means just by you are interested in the numbers, you are interested in the values. Whatever is happening to the patient, whether the neuropathy is happening or the retinopathy is happening, or more and more fatigue is happening, all those things are kept aside. So it is only the correction of the body and correction of the body and correction of the body alone. Whatever is happening to the patient, like more and more complications are coming up, again, that will be controlled by rather giving medicines or by giving injections or by increasing the dose, etc. So here the importance of the mind is not given at all. And even if the patient is talking too much, or if the patient is anxious or asking too much questions, what they will do? You are hyper anxious, you are having anxiety neurosis, you better consult a psychiatrist. Yesterday also a person has come to me who talked that she was talking too much, of course. So I have also taken the rubric delirium anxious for her. But then ultimately at the end, before she left, she thanked me profusely, and then she wept, and then she said that, Doctor, you understood me properly. Whereas the other doctors, they did not even heed to me. They just checked my pulse, they just checked my BP, etc., etc. And they said that you are completely okay, you need psychiatric treatment. How will I take this, doctor? And she wept. So I don't exactly remember for what disease she had come, but then she was having definite pathology. Yeah. So out of that, all these insecurities also come up, right? Yeah. So journey from the body to the mind. This is the reason why we homeopaths need a lot of why Dr. Samuel Hahnemann has given us the importance of position and the importance of the mind. Yeah. So if God has created this material universe, there must be a sense to it. If he has embodied our soul, spirit, and mind in solid appearing body, there must be a sense to it. So it is not only treating the body, it is the holistic approach. What is this holistic approach? Mind and body. So mind and body everywhere. If it is a cold also, how you will prescribe? Will you simply give Allium cepa, etc., etc.? If the patient is showing hyper anxious, and if the patient wants if the patient is chilly and he wants warm water to drink, and the patient is very, very restless, see, all these things are typically proved in our Materia Medica, and it is by heart for all of us, right? We will give him arsenic album, no? We will never give him Allium cepa or Dulcamara, etc. So that's how it is. We always give the importance to mind, 50-50 importance, no? Importance to mind. It's not only about the mind. If you give 100% importance to the mind, then you are losing a lot of things from the body. You are losing a lot of physical generals then. So physical general, that is the physic part of the body, which we are able to see, touch, and feel. That one also should be given importance. And the mental part also should be given importance. Only then it becomes the totality. Only then it becomes a totality. And this is what is called as the holistic treatment. So this is why this much of explanation is given here, that the mind, why the mind is given importance. See, body is there, okay, treat the body. No, that is not alone enough in homeopathy. The relationship between each other, the relationship between the soul, spirit, mind, and body. He has not created anything useless in this world. See, or if the understanding, only if the understanding is there, is we can use this body for our higher purpose of existence, right? If the understanding is not there, you have a robust body, a healthy body. You would have seen, no, children who are having this ADHD problem, they have grown up into 21 years, 25 years, boy and all will sometimes come. He's an adult already, no? But then there is no understanding. Physically, he has grown to 80 kg body weight and he is crying like a baby or behaving abnormally. That social behavior is not there. Brain is there, no. All these things are there. All the parts of the body are there. But then the understanding is not there. The intellect is not there. So this is the reason for us to be holistic. Yeah. So there we will not be taking the mental symptoms alone. We want the bodily symptoms as well. He has not created anything useless in this world. So if the body is created, okay, then go ahead with the body alone. Is it possible? No. Without the mind, without the soul, without the spirit, this body is useless. So was Almighty a fool to create a cage in the form of body to retain the abstract part of us? Why then did he create different features and structures in different people with different natures? So here comes what? The individualization. And molecular biology has amply proved it. The next sentence is very interesting. Scientists in USA have been able to reconstruct an image of a murderer or a rapist from a clue offered by genes in tissue cells of the criminal retrieved from the nails of the victim. Yeah. Yes, this is how it is. So everything has got that blueprint in our body. The genes, from the genes will determine the character of the body and of course of the mind also, the thought process also. And this can include height, weight, age, looks, complexion, nature, as well as what? The behavior also, no? Whether he is a murderer or he is a rapist, all these things, just by looking into a small part of the nail of the victim. Yeah, because the victim would have done something, no, like scratched or something for protection. And from that little tissue will be there in the nails of the victim, that will be scraped off, and that is done all these molecular biology exercises. And finally, they said that, okay, this is the structure of this person, 6 foot or whatever the height, age, even the color of the iris, they will be able to predict from the genes. That much this has developed, the science has developed. On the other hand, the material body is a concrete ladder leading to the man or soul or spirit residing within. The best way the Almighty has provided is to take the help of this ladder to systematically reach the destination where the spirit resides with the address provided. It is foolish to just stand underneath the building and try to imagine or make sterile theories of who would be residing on which floor. This comprises of hit and miss homeopathy. Okay. So by imagining certain things, who is staying upstairs? Okay, there are two options. No, either we can sit and think and imagine, or you can go to the name board and find out in which flat who is residing. So which one would you people like? When the patient is coming us with a maze of symptoms, either whatever knowledge we know, with whatever metromedica knowledge we know, we can just fix in certain symptoms or take the symptoms of our convenience and give him an XYZ medicine. Or do you want to go step by step, looking into the nameplate and understand, look into the journey of the disease, write down the layer of the disease, write down the miasm everywhere, upon every disease, whatever the patient has had so far, and now where is his position, and what are the pathologies happened, what are his lab investigation reports, and then combining that with the mind, etc., you will be able to find out the simillimum. So the otherwise it comprises of hit and miss homeopathy. So if you want mathematical calculation, you have to follow it step by step. So this is a fort of the right brain dominance, to refuse to accept the seen indications and run after proposed hypothetical concepts is not homeopathy. Whatever is seen in front of you, you are not interested in all those things. You want always to have some hypothetical concepts. That is not homeopathy. So step-by-step analysis is needed. Enough is enough. We have to break the hamshackles of ignorance. We have to come out of the limited world of homeopathic books. We have to come out of the jungles of South Africa. We have to stop believing, supporting, and even blindly following the so-called masters who have taken advantage of our ignorance, like the witch doctors of yore. The world outside our jungle of homeopathy is much more advanced. So here, Vijayakar sir is taking your hands and moving ahead, that forget all those things or unlearn all those things, what you have, what all thought processes you have about the miasms. From your college days, lot of things would have entered into your brain. Remove all those thoughts or unlearn all those thoughts. And now let us come into the proper analysis and then come into the miasm with the physiology, by looking into the physiology. That is our Rudolf Virchow, no? Yeah. According to his book, and combining that with embryology, etc., Vijayakar sir is taking us with concrete evidence that this is it, this is it, this is it. So making our quest towards the simillimum much more easier. Okay. So I think today we will stop here, and for the chapter 3, we shall go into the next lesson, that is chapter 3, in the next class. So today it was more of just reading the theory, no? I know it will be rather dry, but then okay, let us complete the book anyway. So now this is the end of today's class, and let us have Dr. Gokula Kannan.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
The screen is visible, right?
Yes, doctor.
Thank you, madam, for this opportunity. Okay. It's a case of psoriasis. This patient almost had except in the face, all over the body, he had that rashes when he came to my clinic. Okay. So just we will see the conflict of, so it will be very easy for us also to understand the case. Okay. So according to GNM, the conflict is the separation conflict, a situation where a person experience an intense feeling of being separated, abandoned, or excluded from something or something important. Okay. So so when he came first, I asked what is his complaint. He said, I have a lot of gastric complaint. That's what he said first. Frequently feeling fullness and feel full. Food is very difficult to eat, like a lot of gastric complaint. That's what he said for since last 1 month. But when I seen he had full flare up of his rashes. Then I asked what about these rashes. Then he has start to discuss about this skin issue. He said the skin issue since 2015. He said I was staying in the room where there is no air circulation, so it has started. That's what he said. First, it started on head, chest, then arms and leg. So when I asked about his childhood nature, he said, I'm very quiet and rarely mix with others. I stayed at I always stayed at home, but I don't talk to others much. I haven't gone outside and I haven't talked to my parents very often. He is very silent nature. So in studies also he is in very average. In schools, he said I don't study properly. Because of that, they maybe stand as a punishment. So others will laugh at me and in the school. So I feel bad and so I will go and sit in park alone. That's what he said. And fear, if someone talks loudly or dark, I cannot sleep in dark because of ghost fear. And dog also he get afraid. And his father's shout also, he get afraid. He desires tea much and coffee very much. And in his stress, he said at work, I struggle with my task. If there is an issue in code, he is an IT, he is working in IT. He said if there is an issue in code, they will question me. So I feel there is no one is there to help or guide me. In the office also, he don't want to get promotion. So because he said if it goes to next level, there will be a lot of questions will be there. I can't handle. Sometimes he said, I want to leave this job and go to my native and start some grocery shop or something. That's what he said to me. He wants to start some business. And I am very attached to my parents, but they treat me as if I don't know anything. So they say I don't do things properly and ask my brother instead. They will ask his brother instead of even for the ATM PIN number or something change also. They will say, okay, you don't know, I will ask your brother. He's younger brother. So that make me feel bad, but I remain silent. Okay. So this is the case. Okay. So this analysis part wise, his basic nature is very reserved and confident wise very low confident and no ability to take responsibilities in life. And the psoriasis, it's an autoimmune process. Okay, so and this separation, as we see, there is a separation conflict. I try to see in what way we can select a rubric. So it will be it can be reproduced by everyone and it will be, we can also reproduce. That's the reason I try to do in this way. So basically it's an separation conflict. So when it comes to separation conflict, we have to see whether he wants to be separate or he don't want to be separate. So that's the basic things. If we try to see the case, it will be very easy to classify him also. Basically, he don't want to be separated because he need always people to, so that is his nature. So why he don't want to be separated is he is low confident in his ability. So if we get a rubric for that, this will help to crack the case. And okay, so here he have taken that misplacement because when he had this much complaint, but when he came and explained to me first, he was talking about the gastric complaint rather than this psoriasis. So I have taken that misplacement. And the rubric I have taken is delusion. He walks on his knee. It's like a feeling of being crippled. I can't able to do alone. I always need some support. This case we can entry by using this delusion, marked and laughed, all those things also we can able to enter the case. But as we try to always look for a syphilis and when we want to try to connect the GNM conflict also, I felt this rubric will be an better thing. So based on that, Beretta got 0 bar 1 have started, and he got better with 0 bar 3. And after the 6 months, when his colleagues was on long leave, again he had a intense flare up. That time it was more severe. So again it has started with 0 bar 3, and he was better with 0 bar 8. He got much better. Then after that, almost for 9 months, now he is better way. Okay, so it is in the process of. I initially first time I didn't take the picture. So this is when in the middle, when asked to send the picture, he have sent that. Okay, so this is what during when it was getting better. This the legs and all. You can see that it's coming into the psychotic state. That rashes, it's rather than syphilitic, it's more of getting thick, and psychotic is getting more. And this was when it was getting better, and now almost his there is no patches also not there, because as Sar has said, when it is getting better, the skin has to get completely into normal. There should not be no patches and all. But almost now his skin, almost there is no white marks, and the dark discoloration also not there. Okay. Yeah, this is the case now. Yeah.
Great, doctor. Thank you.
What to say, Gokulakanna? One more golden feather on your cap. Very good, very excellent result, excellent result. So Beretta carb has, how frequent is the repetition? That is a question by Sai Narendra.
Okay.
Uh,
No, initially, when I start to give 3 times also. Okay, morning, afternoon, night also, because we know when the syphilis is getting into psychotic, then we will reduce. Usually, if you see, I have started from 0 bar 1, and but within 1 month, I have reached to 0 bar 3, because the syphilis has to. So usually, psychotic will takes little longer time to respond, but syphilis usually it will respond very fast. So I usually wait for 3 4 days. If there is no much change, or even sometimes I will wait based on that. If I 5 6 days wait, if there is no much change, I will change the potency. Okay, so when there is lot of, when I feel the syphilitis is more, I frequently will repeat even 3 4 times also. But once he is better, when I feel he is gone to psychotic, I will give only once or alternative days.
Hope it is cleared. Dr. Archana is asking, what is the criteria to go to the next potency? Yeah.
Sorry, madam, I didn't get.
What is the criteria to go to the next potency even before 1 month? So,
If we can wait, because I waited with this medicine, because I know this is the medicine, but we have to see some improvement in patient, right? The patient, because he's not, he had that when he had intense fever also there. He was not able to move completely. He was in the house. So even we can't say, okay, we'll wait for a month to see the improvement. So once we feel it's working and it's the syphilis is reversing, then we can wait. If it is not happening, if we see, okay, if there is no much improvement, still the syphilitic state is, there is no alteration, definitely we have to change.
thank you, Gokulakanna. Dr. Archana, hope your questions are answered. Yeah. Since, as he said, how to prepare the medicine, Dr. Shubhangi is asking.
So in that, usually in that 30 ml, so I will mix this 0 bar 1 or 2 or 2. I usually not only one pills, I will usually keep 2 or 3 pills also I will keep. And we will rectified spread 2 or 3 drops I will keep. That's how we will use, and we have to give succussion, and we have to ask people to mix in water, and we have to take.
Excellent. That is the best mode of application of medicine in chronic diseases, in such skin disease. In such chronic case, how long can we wait for the improvement to be seen visible? 1 week or how many days? Dr. Archana is asking.
if it is an psychotic, if the patient is on psychotic, we have to wait even for a month also we can wait, or even 2-3 months also we can wait if you are sure of the remedy. But if it's an syphilitic state, definitely it has to get better, because as sir already have said, psychotic takes very long time to get better, but syphilitic usually it will get better in a short time.
Yes. How many succussions every time?
So usually I will ask them to do 10 succussions before taking medicines.
Okay, doctors? Any questions? Very good case, Gokulakanna.
Okay,
Thank you so
you.
much for presenting this case. Very
Thank you.
interesting. Shubhangi is asking why you have chose the 0-bar medicine, why not 200 or higher potency?
When I feel I have to repeat the medicine, I usually prefer to go for LM potency.
In order to reduce the aggravations.
Yes.
If it is probably for the skin and all, the aggravations will be very severe, that sometimes it will be unbearable also. So there the 0-bar potency, actually the millisimal is the highest of highest. It is even more than 10 m, no? It is higher than 10 m potency. So that if you can dissolve in water and give for the skin, invertebrate skin diseases, that will be always good, no? At least the flare-up will not be there. And the disease can be in a safer zone. The patient also can be in a safer zone. So as we're confident of the medicine, you changed the potency when he was not responding, right? Yes. Yes, no, Dr. Gokulakanna?
Yes, sir.
Yes. He understood that the medicine is Baraita only. But then when the patient was not responding in the initial 2 to 3 days of administration of medicine, we know that if it is the similimum, then it is the rapidest form of cure, no? So immediately the syphilis should reduce, that the night aggravation should reduce, or the patient will, that can be seen immediately, because that is the similia similibus curenta. When the right medicine is administered, the vital force immediately within no time becomes stimulated and the curing process starts. Then you will immediately understand that whether this patient is really improving or not. If that that percentage of improvement is not seen in the initial 1 or 2 days, or if the suffering is just like that, worst sufferings, then he went to the next higher potency, that 0-bar 2 or then the 0-bar 3, and from there the improvement started. And on and on and on he went, and yeah, the patient was a lot better initially, and even almost completely cured. But then there's a little bit of relapse came in after a bad news, after again when another suppression conflict had come, isn't it, Dr. Gokulakanna?
Yes,
Again, he has gone back to 0-bar 3, and from there again he has continued till as the improvement starts. Okay, so as the improvement starts, which means the syphilis comes down and the psychosis is prominent. So then slowly, according to the improvement, you would have thought about the potencies, right? From
Yes,
0-bar 3 to 0-bar 8. Can you explain on that? So a little bit of improvement will be there upon the psychosis.
No. Again, when he had a flare up, I have started with the 0-bar 3. Again, he had a severe fever, and but with 0-bar 3, it was not getting better. So I have gone to, again I was increasing. Then only for the 0-bar 8, he was start to feel better. But I don't know why there is need to increase this much. I actually I was still thinking why it was responded earlier with the 0-bar 3, but the 0-bar 4, 5, 6, it was not helping. Again on 8, it was getting better. But still we can't declare it's a cure, because psoriasis, it has to be a very long year. I have asked to report how you are every 6 months or 1 year, because we have to wait for very long time to say it's a completely cured case.
Yes, at least for 3 years, we have to wait for chronic psoriasis cases to declare that it is completely cured. But then anyway, right now, the skin and all is so nice, so good. But then we know that the constitution is vulnerable. As long as he is Baraita carb and his complaints are fixed, and he is able to do his higher purpose of existence, everything will be good until until the next strong blow of the nature comes and hits him, until another trauma comes in, like another separation conflict, because that is the sensitivity of this patient. No. So if his vital force is robust enough to make that separation, then well and good. Then the relapse will not occur. So I hope this Beretta case is really an eye-opener case to us. So that's really good. I appreciate that. Now what somebody has asked some question. Congratulations, brother, for rocking results. Yes, Archana. This is DCS remedy only, right? Yes, this is DCS only. But then since it was or probably is it necessary that we have to give, but then this is DCS only, right? Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
So there is no question of giving up another medicine after some time, because the patient is all good. As long as his improvement continues, we have to keep off our hands, but then we have to keep the patient in our vicinity, so that we have to see him once in every 6 months at least, as Dr. Gokulakandan rightly said, to make sure that everything is all is well, right? Yes, let us hope so. Yeah. Just let me interfere with one small case of mine. In 1 minute, I shall finish it off. With a dose of Staphysagrine 200, long back, an exfoliative dermatitis was cured, and his nervous complaints also came back. He was all crouched and black, and he started standing upright, and he put on weight also. That means from syphilis, visibly he had come to psychosis, and even now he is continuing on and on. Till now, it is more than 10 years now. Till now, he is all good only. His exfoliative dermatitis has never come back after that. That's how it is. So probably, yeah, in psoriasis, we have to give GCS by covering autoimmune rubric. Do you have any inputs, Dr. Gokulakandan?
Psoriasis, we will give only the PCS first, then we will follow by GCS. Whenever it's an autoimmune, we have to give a state layer. Then after that, once that state layer is getting better, then we will go for GCS. Yes, madam.
Yes, but then in certain literature, we have seen that psoriasis is also autoimmune disease. When it is like so flared up and all that, no, that we have generally classified psoriasis is from the layer 3, but then according to miasm, psychosis or psychosyphilitic or frank syphilis, where the cuts and the redness and all will be very much exaggerated. But sometimes in certain books, we have seen that psoriasis has autoimmune tendency as well. I think that is why Dr. Shubhangi has asked this question. So I think if it has entered into the complications like psoriatic arthritis, no, like rheumatoid arthritis, all crippled and crouched, and when the entire personality of the patient is gone, we can't even see, even that exfoliative dermatitis was like that. It was kind of autoimmune only, where the entire personality was gone. It is not only upon the skin. Whereas this Beretta case, as you said, was walking properly to the clinic, and he was talking about other complaints, no? Like the skin is damaged, of course, but then only the skin layer is damaged. Only the dermis layer is damaged. So there is no autoimmunity there. So where it has gone into the entire system, then probably we can consider it as autoimmune, where the joints are affected, where other systems are affected, where the nails are damaged, and everything, where everywhere the degeneration is showing, then you know that the personality as a whole is affected, then you can consider it as autoimmune. That's what I think. Is there any other?
And one more thing, might be it will confuse, but his father also is a Parkinson. He was suffering from Parkinson. So I thought the syphilitic tendency has been from his father, it came. So that's the reason I was going with Beretta carb itself rather than going for, because I thought there is a syphilitic root in his
family.
Yeah, so that's the reason I have
Yeah,
taken like this.
kind of head on other shoulders also, no? Because the father, yeah, exactly, Sai Narendra. Because the entire family is running with, or probably father is having that, and this child is also having, the son is also having a strong syphilitic taint there. So considering this rubric, it is always pointing towards Beretta. That's really good in this case, Okay, then. Shall we call it a day? Thank you once again, Gokulakandan. And thank you all doctors. Yeah, let us continue our journey, ongoing journey in the next coming few weeks as well. and let us have lot of such good learning discussions, and let this all help you and give you a lot of motivation. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you all.